Hi again, Panther fans, and welcome to episode 118 of the Panther Insider Podcast, driven by Ford. This is Dave Cohen, the radio voice of the Panthers, and on this latest show, we're coming to you from the Sun Belt Conference Football Media Day here in New Orleans as we look ahead to the 14th season of Georgia State football. We'll be talking to veteran offensive lineman Travis Glover, who's been a force in the offensive line and a big part of the success of the Panthers' run game in recent seasons, and cornerback Bryquice Brown, who had 45 tackles and an interception in 2022. Panthers open up the season August 31 when they host the Rams of Rhode Island, following a September 9th game at Center Park Stadium against the Huskies of UConn. Tickets available online at GeorgiaStateSports.com and by calling the Athletics ticket office at 404-413-4020. Well, before we talk to Travis and Bryquice, we want to thank all Georgia State fans who have subscribed, rated, and reviewed our previous 117 shows. All previous podcasts are currently available on the Apple Archives page at GeorgiaStateSports.com. We also invite you to download the Georgia State Athletics mobile app to your iPhone or iPad, another way to follow the Panthers throughout the season. First up, from Vienna, Georgia, and that is veteran offensive lineman Travis Glover. Welcome to the Panther Insider Podcast Media Day here in New Orleans. Your thoughts so far?
Oh, my thoughts so far, I'm really loving the city of New Orleans. It's a totally different vibe than Atlanta, a very interesting vibe. The people I love the people down here. The food's great, and just a great time so far.
Your first time here in the city of New Orleans, representing Georgia State here at this event.
Yes, sir. My first time down here in New Orleans. Glad to be representing Georgia State University.
Well, certainly, Travis, a lot to prove. The season didn't go the way we all would have liked it to have gone last year. First and foremost, everybody inside that locker room at Georgia State. It was a season coming off the 8-win season 2 years ago when the win in the Camellia Bowl. There was a lot of optimism going into the season, and it was just one of those years where 6 of the 8 losses, because the Panthers went 4-8, came by one score.
Yes, sir. Like you said, 6 of those 8 games, losing by one score is very tough. And I feel like we had to go into this offseason and make changes because, like you said, we came into that season with high expectations, great players, and maybe in the locker room and throughout the whole department got kind of comfortable and expecting us to go out and win games. And those little details kind of led to us losing key games that overall affected the performance of the whole season.
You would know better than I, but it seems like it's one of those situations where you kind of feel like you're walking on eggshells when you're losing games like that. Like, what's going to happen next that's going to cause us to lose a game that we think we should win?
Yeah, I understand that. Last season, after you have a tough loss from punt blocks, you just like, where do we have to go? What adversity will we face this game? And like you said, almost like walking on eggshells. You just treading lightly because you don't know what's going to be next.
And the thing about it, too, is you're practicing 5 days a week. Practice becomes a little bit more, not hard, but it's not as much fun when you're trying to dig out of a hole.
Yeah, like you said, not as much fun. But you still find a sense of fun because we love what we do, but it's hard to fight through the adversity of knowing that it's not how we want to go, and we just got to continue to fight and finish the season strong.
All right, so tell me a little bit about your off-season. The offensive line is going to look a little bit different. Players coming and going. Transfer portal has played a part of that, along with guys that have just graduated. But talk a little bit about your off-season as you have now focused forward here to the 2023 season for the Panthers.
Yeah, I feel like personally I had a great off-season. I got my body right and try to tone down and get my movement skills better. And then as a group, like you said, we brought in those new guys, and the first step when we bring in new guys is to join them in our family, make them family. And then I feel like once we get that family aspect involved, then the football comes easy. It's easy to work with a guy that you love. So like you said, we brought in new transfers. We got a veteran in tight end. A very veteran guy comes to work every day. We got a young guy, Lamar Robinson, that comes ready to work every day. He kind of inspired me. We work out together, and I look at him like he's going to be something special. So it's just been a great offseason and just evolving who we are mentality-wise and everything.
And, you know, when you look at your career at Georgia State, and I always say 4 years, 5 years can go by quickly. You're one of the you're one of the elder statesmen in that locker room right now. Do you embrace that role of are you a vocal leader, a lead by example guy? You're no longer that freshman that came in from Vienna, Georgia. You're one of the guys that everybody else is looking to.
Yeah, like you said, when I came in as a freshman, I couldn't see this, but now I'm one of the veteran guys in the locker room. So I used to be like a guy that just led by example. I do everything right. I have been trying to become a more vocal leader because I know the guys look up to me. I know the things that you guys see I have done starting games, and at first I didn't really realize it because, like you said, I used to be that freshman looking up the hunter and stuff. But now I'm the new hunter. I try to be there for those guys and encourage them and push them every way I can.
Referencing Hunter Atkinson, now you're really making me feel old.
Yeah, me too.
Well, obviously, and I say this to every offensive lineman that we interview, chemistry plays a big part in it because it's unlike running back or quarterback. I mean, there's 5 guys, and 5 guys have to basically come together and work as one. And as you said, with the transfer portal and guys coming and going, how has that process started yet in order to build that chemistry with what? We're going to have 4 new faces on the offensive line?
Yes, sir. Like you said, it's like we got like 3, I want to say, transfers and like a freshman coming in. And like I said earlier, that family aspect really creates that chemistry, allowing us to work together, being together off the field and on the field. Creating that family aspect creates the chemistry, creates good play. And that's just what we have been really working on this offseason.
When you take into consideration you yourself from a physical standpoint, you're a big dude. What are you, 6'6", 6'7"? Yeah, about 6'6". You're at the end of the day, you're bigger than I am. And what have you done from a year ago after the last game in order to, I don't know, not recreate, but work on your physical aspect of your body to get ready for this year?
Yeah, I think in the past trying to be more of a pro, so like working on flexibility, eating right, trying to strengthen different muscles that in the past I look over. Of course, everybody do the arms and legs, but like the small muscle, abductors, and just things of that nature, trying to get the body ready for all the impact that we go through in the season, all the stress that we go through, and just overall trying to become a complete player, trying to be more of a pro with it.
And I ask that because, coming off the season that we came off, there's a little bit more, I would say, of that sense of urgency, which I think happens a lot coming off what we'll call a losing season. But you also got to do strength and conditioning, coach. And that is kind of the first wave of change that you guys have dealt with. Talk about your new strength and conditioning coach, a guy that Coach Elliott, obviously was familiar with when he brought him in.
Oh yes, Coach Mike has been a great addition to our football team. He the one thing I take from him is he's letting us know that we can push way past what we think our limit is. And it's something that every time he speaks I listen to, because he's a man that you would think he's being tough on you, but he's really motivating you and pushing you because we don't know where we can go. And he's trying to show us that he's been there before, and this is what you got to do to get there. Even with the workouts, the condition, everything, just give me all you got until it's done, no matter what. Don't look forward to the next rep. It's just left foot, right foot. Be where your feet are and just keep going.
Don't you find it interesting that someone can come in and push you beyond where you thought you could be? Like, go back to last off season. There were probably times where under the previous strength and conditioning coach, Coach Sisk, you probably thought, well, this is it. I mean, this is my breaking point. And now you got a guy who comes in and pushes you even further than you thought you could ever go.
Yes, and that's when I really started to buy in, when I seen that, and me being a guy that's been around for a little while, that I had more to give, that what I thought I was doing wasn't enough. And that's really, once they see a veteran guy buy in, get the team to buy in, it just creates a great atmosphere.
It creates a lot of excitement as well as, last year, early season schedule, we knew it was going to be challenging. South Carolina on the road, North Carolina at home. The schedule is a little more favorable at the very beginning, an opportunity to get off to a quick start and not be in a hole trying to dig out, as you get to week 4 and week 5. Got a good opportunity to get off to a great start this year.
Yes, sir. Just like at the beginning of every season, we go into every game trying to win, thinking about a good start. So like you said, we probably have opponents that the media will see that's not as good as these teams, but we're still going into each week, focus on that opponent and giving it all we got to get to our goals.
Again, we're talking to Travis Glover, 6'6", offensive lineman here at Georgia State, out of Vienna, Georgia. Tell fans a little bit about where you're from and, how football become a passion for you playing at the highest level, here in the Sun Belt Conference with Georgia State.
Yeah, like you said, I'm from Vienna, Georgia, Dooley County, a small town in South Georgia. Not very many people know about it. The high school is across from cows and horses, so it's very small. Coming to Atlanta is a big change, and I feel like
a little bit about Vienna, about your passion for football.
Oh yeah, when I first started playing football, I was the biggest kid in the high school, so my head coach Jimmy Hughes, he got me out there. He coached my dad also, so that was kind of like, okay, so I can trust him. So once I go out there, it kind of built that love for football, because at first I didn't always have that. I wasn't playing since a little kid, so once I came and I seen that it really was the hard work that motivated me to push, because I don't know, it's just the drive inside of me. And then coming to Georgia State, being under Coach Sean Elliott, I've been blessed to have him ever since I've been here. Just really helped me grow as a man and grow as a football player, and I'm blessed, really.
Got to ask you, did you play basketball as well?
Yes, I played 1 year of basketball.
Only 1 year? The coach there let you only play 1 year of basketball? I got to imagine as you're looking down the hall in your high school, there's one head that rises above everybody else. It's got to be you.
Yeah, you're right about that. But it was a great time playing basketball. I guess I wasn't the best condition in high school, so it probably wasn't the best basketball player.
You mentioned playing for Coach Elliott, and again, you are fortunate that you've played for the same guy for 4 years. Interestingly enough, this is his 7th season. He will have been head coach for half of the entire existence of the Georgia State program. That consistency from the top has really been a big benefit for you.
Definitely a great benefit. With him being the head man, being under him, is a benefit to the state of Georgia, the program of Georgia State. With the stuff that drives him, rubbing that off on us, it just creates a great players, great team, just everything.
Got to ask you, I was told to ask you about the name Buttercup. Tell everybody in Panther fans what they're referring to, because you've got a big smile on your face right now.
Like I mentioned earlier about my high school, and I was telling some of the guys from last year about how we had horses across the street. And then I want to say my good friend Jonathan Bass, he said Buttercup, and ever since then it kind of stuck, the name Buttercup, a horse named Buttercup, and they paint a picture of it and everything.
That must have been quite a transition for you, coming from a really small town in South Georgia, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of the capital of the South, Atlanta, Georgia. What was that like for you as we go back 4 years?
Yeah, definitely a big transition, coming from a small town, not very tall buildings, to Atlanta, where it's very huge buildings, traffic everywhere. And I feel like I had to keep things simple for me in order to be involved in the city. Like, it was just a big change.
Think back to it, though, mentally, where you were 4 years ago as a person in your own personal life, and where you are now as the elder statesman, or one of the elder statesmen in the locker room, and having been an Atlanta resident and a Georgia State student now for the last 4 years.
Yeah, when I first came in as a freshman, my mind was blown, seeing all the tall buildings, cars flying down the street, one-way streets, never had heard of those. And then now it's like almost second nature, almost like my home now in Atlanta. I'm very used to it, and I kind of love the city of Atlanta.
All right, and lastly, again, you guys are looking forward to this season. Ever since the final buzzer, the final horn of that last game of last year, this year started. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. As soon as we left that locker room, got on the bus, came back, and we started preparing.
Travis, best of luck. We'll be watching all season. We'll be with you every step of the way. Enjoy New Orleans. Appreciate you joining us, and best of luck this year.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
All right, I want to thank the now veteran offensive lineman for the Georgia State Panthers. That's Travis Glover. We're continuing our season preview here for Georgia State football. Panthers heading into their 14th season. 7th under head football coach Sean Elliott. August 31, they're going to take on the Rams of Rhode Island. We're going to continue with our Panther Insider Podcast preview from a media day here in New Orleans for the Sun Belt Conference. Coming up after these words from Ford and Center Park Credit Union, we will talk to veteran cornerback Bryquice Brown.
even before the victory celebration is over. Great teams are back at it the next day, working to get even better. The team at Ford understands how hard work and dedication pay off. Over the last 30 years, Ford Explorer has been America's best-selling SUV. In fact, all Ford SUVs, like Explorer, Escape, and Edge, are built for victory. Score a great offer today at your local Ford dealer. Based on total cumulative OEM reported U.S. sales for all SUVs from calendar year 1990 through calendar year 2019.
Center Park Credit Union, the official financial sponsor of GSU football, is proud to be a part of the Georgia State community and the Panther athletics program. Center Park provides members convenient financial services. In addition to online banking, mobile banking, and 7 Metro Atlanta branches, Center Park members have access to 5,000 co-op shared branches and 75,000 surcharge-free ATMs nationwide. To find a location near you, visit online at centerpark.org/contact, and that's park with a C. Not a member? Join today at centerpark.org. At Center Park, we help our members flourish. We're back in the Panther Insider Podcast talking Georgia State football from Sunbelt Conference Media Day here in New Orleans. Dave Cohen joined right now by the veteran cornerback and now one of the team leaders, Bryquice Brown. And your first time in New Orleans, first time on Bourbon Street. Talk a little bit about your first 24 hours here in the Crescent City.
Definitely a great time. I'm enjoying it, and the food is nowhere near underrated. I love the food out here, Redfish is amazing, so I kind of want to get another taste of that before I leave, but I've been enjoying myself.
So it's safe to say that you'll be coming back to New Orleans at some point here in the near future.
Oh, yes, for sure. Just got to enjoy it and take more in. I like it out here, especially the food. The food's amazing.
Well, New Orleans is known for a lot of things, food being one of them. Let's talk Georgia State football because that's why we're here. It's Media Day. It kind of signals, Bryquice, the start of fall camp, for lack of a better term. But you and I were talking a little bit earlier. After a 4-8 season last year, I would guess that after the final horn at the end of last season, you probably took a week or two off to let your body kind of heal. And then it has been a very busy off season with a new strength and conditioning coach getting ready for the 2023 campaign.
Definitely coming off of last season was tough. 4-8 is definitely never, an option that we want to have. So we got back to work fast, and we trust our work this year, just having Coach Mike Sergiano come in and just laying the ground rules and everyone just following along and having a new standard intact. So just having him around has been amazing for us.
We were talking to Travis Glover in the first segment of the Panther Insider podcast. Anytime this coaching changes, things change. But how does it change when you bring in a new strength and conditioning guy? Because things change and the way they like to do things and their approach and the things that they value in that weight room, that strength and conditioning center, are different from the previous guy.
So the thing about Coach Mike, he comes in, he teaches you about life. Like, you got to handle adversity in every cause. It's not even just about football, but just having him in there with the juice, the energy, and just the want to, and just like I've been telling everybody today, like the one thing that he preaches is find a way. No matter if your hand's broken, your nose is broken, if we got to win, we got to find a way to win this game.
You look at last year, we don't want to focus on it too much, but it was I kind of call it the year of what could have been.
Yes, definitely the year of what could have been. I kind of try to put that behind us now because, it's in the past. Now I'm just trying to look forward to the present and what we have this year and just build something special.
You were part of that team 2 years ago that won 8 games and won the Camellia Bowl, got off to a 1-4 start, and then really kicked it into gear. So you kind of have seen what this team is capable of doing.
Yes, most definitely. When Darren stepped into that role, taking us from 1-4 to 8-5, it was huge for us. Just having him, a quarterback like that can expand the offense and just, put us on his back when we need him. So just having him, a guy like that in our locker room is just amazing.
You look back again a year ago, I think 6 of the 8 losses were by just one score, which after a while, yes, there's a frustration level, but there's also that, you look at it and the things could have gone so differently. And, you got a lot of guys back this year from that team, and we'll talk about a lot of the new faces, but what are we, about 60-40 as far as the old faces to new faces?
Most definitely. We got a lot of new faces, and like you were saying, losing by one score a lot last year, that was just huge for us. But that's a huge improvement that we made in this offseason with finishing. That's just been the main focus is finishing games and bringing the energy throughout the whole game. We can't just be juiced up for the first half and then come out the second half slow. So just coming out every single game with the juice and the will to win. And then just the new guys, they came in and just jumped right in. They fell right into place. They knew what it was. We had the standard intact when they came here. So when they came in, they just jumped on board and trusted the process.
Obviously, college football, college athletics has changed. The transfer portal, we've talked about it in other interviews ad nauseum. It certainly has affected Georgia State. It's affected the defensive side of the football. Guys that were lining up next to you or in front of you defensively are not here anymore. They're elsewhere. What's your outlook on the defense this year with some of the new faces? Because you're one of the returning guys that they're going to look to for leadership.
I feel like this year we're still going to be really good. We got a lot of guys that just transferred. Kevin Swint from Clemson. We have Henry Bryant from Louisville. A sleeper that everyone really doesn't know about. We have Gavin Pringle from Bucknell. So guys like that are going to be huge for us on this defense this year. And also Ronald Cooper stepping up, going to be playing a big role for us. So guys like that are going to be trustworthy on the field, and they know a lot of football. So just put them in places to make position. Put them in position to make plays and be trustworthy out there.
Of course, there's 11 guys on the field at any one time. That you hear the often overused word chemistry, but knowing where your teammates are working in conjunction, working together, that takes a little bit of time to develop. And with the new faces, that really puts the onus on every fall camp is important, but do you feel like it's a little bit more important this year because there are so many new faces and you guys have got to really spend as much time on the field as you can in order to know how to work with one another?
See, the thing about our locker room, that's never really been an issue. Our guys are one. This is the most family-oriented locker room I've ever been a part of. Even in the past years, it was really great, but this year it just took a huge jump. Just the slight changes that Coach Elliott has made by moving guys around the locker room. We used to be position group based, but now it's a wide variety of. I'm sitting next to a receiver and a quarterback. Braylon Ragland, a new freshman quarterback. So just showing him the ropes of what it's like to be in college, and just going out there with a mindset of just being hungry. Everyone's just starting to fall in line and understand that, okay, we want to win these games and we got to get to it somehow.
Coaches always talk about leaders on the field, leaders in the locker room. You come across to me as a guy who embraces that role and is not afraid to be vocal about it.
Most definitely. I was just telling Coach about it the other day. We were hosting already defensive meetings before camp. We trying to get ahead of the ball. We never want to experience the 4-8 feeling again. So we already started. We have a new defense, hosting defensive meetings, just having everybody talk over their spot or within that play, so everyone can learn every single spot of the defense. So when we're out there's no mishaps or there's no bust. Everyone trusts everybody, and everyone knows what everyone else's responsibility.
Of course, it's taken me this long in this interview to mention, and I should have mentioned it earlier, but you got a new defensive coordinator, along with a new strength and conditioning coach. So for you, a lot of new coming into this season. How has that transition gone so far? I know we're not in fall camp just yet.
The transition has been amazing. Coach Staggs he walked into the building with instant respect just because we played him for so many years. So just having him on our side of the ball and just him as an aggressive play caller, just our type of play style. We're an aggressive team. We like to play free, not too much thinking, and then he's just kind of letting us be free and let us play with some swag. So having him is amazing. And then Coach Mike Sergiano, just to top it off, just having us more strong-minded and just tougher as a team this year. It's just them going hand-in-hand together for a defense is going to be very dangerous.
You were talking about schemes a little bit, and people see football players, and they don't always see what goes on behind the scenes in meeting rooms, watching film. There's a whole lot more preparation that goes into this, talking about game day, than just running out of the locker room on the field and waiting for the ball to be kicked off.
Most definitely. It takes a week of preparation. You got to watch film, see what guys' tendencies are, see what they like to do, what kind of formations they like, what do they like on third down, first down, second down, are they a heavy run team, heavy pass team? So things like that, and who are the guys that they trust on the field? Because every team has a playmaker, and I know they're going to try to get them the ball. So just kind of watch film and just see what kind of tendencies I can pick up on with eye contact, maybe a little hand gesture towards the quarterback to see what they're going to do.
You were mentioning some of the new faces that Panther fans will see this year. Without going through all of them, some impact players that have come in and that are going to hopefully improve the defense from what it was a year ago and really put opposing teams' offenses on their back heels.
Oh yeah, like I said, we have a few guys like Ronald Cooper. He's going to be really good for us this year. Kevin Swint's going to be good for us this year. Gavin Pringle. Those are some guys that just came in and just stepped in and just grew this offseason. Just show why they need to be here and why they will be very productive on our defense.
Always goes back to that same old saying, doesn't it? Next man up. You lose some pretty good players. Next guy's got to step up. There's no other option.
Most definitely. That's exactly what goes back to finding a way. If you're that next guy, you got to know it's what the responsibility is once you step on that field and be ready at all times, just because you never know when it's your moment.
Again, Bryquice Brown, cornerback, with us here on the Panther Insider podcast. First two games are at home this year. Rams of Rhode Island on August 31, September 9 against UConn. Last year, we woulda, coulda, shoulda in those first two ball games, but I know everybody's looking forward for an opportunity to get off to a good start, hopefully be 3-0 heading into conference play. That first conference game is early. It's week 4 against Coastal Carolina.
Most definitely. Starting off with Rhode Island is going to be huge. That's the main focus for us right now. We're not really worried about UConn until UConn gets here, but right now focusing on Rhode Island, just picking up everything we can pick up off of them, and of course a 3-0 start would be great for us this year. That would be a confidence booster, and I feel like all the hard work this offseason will be showing for not just us but the fans as well.
A little bit about you and your background, which we've talked about before, but you're from the Boston area, from Dorchester. College football up north is not what it is down south. How did you find your way to Atlanta, and where did that love for football and college football come from? Because you come from, like I do, really a pro town, and that's what they talk about. College is not up there what it is where we are now.
Just having the influence of my older brothers in my life. My older brother was a football player, and Bruce is also an athlete too. So just having them in my life, just sports has always been huge to me. I've been playing football with water balls growing up, but it didn't matter as long as I could play the game. I enjoyed it so much. Just picking up a ball and be able to just step out on the field with the team has always been great to me. But moving down south was just a move that my mom decided to make for the family, and it was a great move for us just because football is huge down here. I got an opportunity to come down here and showcase my talent, and then I ended up at Georgia State, which was great.
Did you play all sports growing up as a kid?
I did. I played every single sport.
Hockey?
I tried. I couldn't never ice skate, but if we were in gym class playing hockey, I was one of the best players in there.
The one thing I kind of want, and I smile as I say this, because your older brother just won an NBA championship ring with the Denver Nuggets. But you got a Camellia Bowl ring before he got an NBA championship ring, didn't you? And have you let him know that?
Yes, for sure. But right now he has the upper hand. He's gonna forever tell me he's one up right now just because of the NBA championship. So I told him I'm gonna get a college championship so I can one up him in that aspect, because I know he doesn't have one of those yet. So college championship and then next level, hopefully win one there, and that'd be great.
And how much older is he than you?
He's actually 5 years older than me.
And you were telling me on the trip here to New Orleans, you were in Denver, and he hit those late free throws. You were in the arena the night they won the NBA title.
Most definitely. It was rocking. It was a crazy experience, just seeing him get the putback, to go up 199, then getting fouled late game to punch the free throws to win the game. It was just huge. You can kind of see his emotion after he hit the second free throw. But he tried to hold it and keep his composure for the last 7 seconds, and it was just amazing just to be able to go on the court and just watch the confetti fall, and having him as a role model in my life, just showing me right from wrong, and just keep pushing through when times get tough. So,
is he going to come down and support you during the football season this year at any point?
Most definitely. He was here last year versus North Carolina, but he's planning on making plenty of trips to come to the games this year.
All right, and lastly, again, coming off the season a year ago, what is it about this season? What have you been thinking about when you're by yourself and you have that private moment and it's just you and you're thinking? What is it that kind of occupies your mind as you get ready for this year?
Just being hungry. Like we just talked about my brother. He's a motivational factor for me. Just seeing him win games, go to the championship. I feel like here at Georgia State we can do the same. We have the same type of locker room they had there in Denver. Everyone's for one another, and just trying to pull and just be a better leader for the guys here. Just be there as an example off the field, on the field, and showing that hard work really does pay off. So that's huge.
Coming here to New Orleans, they released the preseason poll, and polls voted on, at the end of the day, as you know, really mean nothing. but Georgia State picked 6th in the Sun Belt East. They call it billboard material. A lot of what you're playing for, too, is to prove everybody wrong.
Most definitely. We try not to get into that. Last year we were ranked high and we didn't finish high at all. So, this year, I'm not really worried about where they have us ranked before the season. We'll just let the end of the season tell, who the real winner is.
Well, congratulations to you, too, second team all defense. Says a lot, and, it's voted on by your peers and opposing coaches. Says a lot of what they think of you as a player in the Sun Belt.
Most definitely. I'm definitely appreciative for that, but right now my biggest focus is just handling business. I got to handle business. That's just a preseason award. I didn't win anything, so at the end of the season, we'll see where that stands.
All right. As always, appreciate it when you and I have the opportunity to get together and talk Georgia State football. And best of luck this season. We'll be with you every step of the way.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I want to thank veteran cornerback Bryquice Brown, along with Travis Glover, joining us in the Panther Insider podcast driven by Ford. Again, broadcasting from Sun Belt Conference Football Media Day here in New Orleans ahead of the 2023 season, as Georgia State will open up August 31 as they take on the Rams of Rhode Island. Tickets available online at georgiastatesports.com. You can also call the Georgia State Athletics ticket office at 404-413-4020. Again, we appreciate Travis and Bryquice for joining us here at Sun Belt Media Day in New Orleans. As a reminder to fans, please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast. Of course, we'll be back again soon with another very special guest on the Panther Insider podcast driven by Ford from New Orleans. Dave Cohen saying thanks for listening, and as always, go Panthers!
GSU, GSU, GASCATE.